and welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host. And this is what we have for you this week. With the last week of divisional matchups before heading into interdivisional play, week 5 was a lot to take in. To recap, we send it out to Hollywood with Tommy Bahama. After the results of this past week, every team in the crewman division, except for undefeated Never Lost, is now tied for the division lead at 3-2. This is sure to be a tight race for the division title as the season progresses. Breaking news, this one is sure to have big consequences around the league. Controversy over the handling of the dropping of wide receiver Brandon Cooks by undefeated Never Lost. TNN would now like to turn our coverage over to the pending litigation regarding the inadvertent drop.
Hello and welcome to case number 1 before the world's 9 best fantasy football players small claims court. I am Judge Daniel presiding over this case. Plaintiff is suing the defendant here, stating that the defendant wrongly claimed wide receiver Brandon Cooks and would like to receive his player in return. Plaintiff, please speak your name into the record and make your opening statement.
Your Honor, my name is Miguel Romanella Georgia Kim. I am the manager of the historic fantasy football team, Undefeated Never Lost. My case will consist of 3 points. 1, it is irrelevant whether Mr. Cooks has become more valuable since the trade, since the drop-in and acquisition occurred before that. While I do admit that his recent performance is the only reason why I'm pursuing compensation, what happened after the fact should have no standing on this case. Number 2, a policy which would allow me to receive Mr. Cooks for a small tax was instituted after the acquisition by the defendant. But I would argue that this policy was already understood league-wide before it was formally discussed in the group message. Mr. Cooks has clear fantasy value in a deep league, and no one tried to claim him other than the defendant. Additionally, even if an unwritten rule has no standing in court, this case will become precedent for future mistakes. What if Alvin Kamara is accidentally dropped? Would it be fair for a bidding war to occur in such case? Number 3, while my stance has consistently been to side with the league regulations, the defendant's stand has changed wildly. I initially allowed Joe to keep Mr. Cooks as the commissioner did not intervene. However, once the regulation was clarified, I offered Joe compensation for the money that he mistakenly spent on Mr. Cooks. Once I did that, Joe did not only reject the trade, but I was also met with public shaming as a private civil discussion that I was entitled. While I have acted completely professionally and according to the rules, Joe went from offering me Mr. Cooks for free to refusing my offer within 1 weekend. And he has acted with the intention of self-improvement rather than to remain within the order of the law. Thank you, Your Honor.
And thank you. Defense, please speak your name into the record and make your opening statement. In the case of Miguel v. Joe regarding the dropping of Brandon Cooks, the Honorable Judge Daniel has decided to side with the defendant in this case. Miguel is not entitled to Brandon Cooks returning to his team, while Joe's actions may be immoral and arguably repugnant. That morality has no bearing on the outcome of this case. There were no rules stating any behavior that must be adhered to from league members. Moving forward, the agreed upon penalty will be enforced, but given that there was no penalty at the time of action, it would be wrong to charge Joe in this case and force him to return Mr. Cooks to the plaintiff. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And now, here is Danny Football with our preview of Week 6. Hey, what's up, guys? The world's 9 best fantasy football players expert, Danny Football here, back with another week of expert predictions. And I am officially back, still an expert. 5-1 this past week. You cannot get this expert insight anywhere else. This moves my total on the year back to a very respectable 18-12. My guest, Grayson, had a respectable showing at 3-3. I'll say it though, he had too much faith in the Bandits. I think really moving on from picking them every week is what helped put me over the edge and turn it around this past week. But he still had some great insights, big numbers guy, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back on the show at some point. Now, it's a new week, there's a new guest, and a new chance to beat the expert. So guests, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's Nooch, owner, manager, potentially player for the currently known as My Alley Cox's Hard Man, coming off my first victory of more than 3 points of the year. So we're really riding a high right now, and I can only see a championship from here.
All right, bold claims. In our first matchup, we have the Lock'em Sock'em Robots taking on Don't Sleep on This Team. Currently, Don't Sleep on This Team is the favorites. It's a very slim margin, 52% chance in this one. Don't Sleep on This Team has turned it around the past 2 weeks, stringing 2 wins together after going winless for 3 weeks to start the year. Nooch, what are your thoughts on this one?
You know, Don't Sleep on This Team has been slept on for too long. They've performed as well as any team in the league over the past 2 weeks. He gets Mahomes off of a loss this week. And on the other hand, Lock'em Sock'em Robots coming off a terrible week for his team. That it's just very inconsistent. People scoring less than 1 point. So I'm thinking I can't sleep on Joe's team any longer, and I'm taking the Don't Sleep on This Team.
Yeah, I mean Joe's team, they're hot right now, 2 wins in a row. But I really think that the release of Locker Room Cancer, Phillip Rivers, is going to be massive for the Robots. I heard a lot of grumblings after his poor streaming performance last week when the team really needed him to step up. For that reason, Phillip Rivers gone. I'm riding the return of Aaron Rodgers and taking the Robots in this one. Next up, we have Demo Gordon taking on Undefeated Never Lost. Currently, Undefeated Never Lost is favored in this one at 69% chance to win. Nice. First place team going up against the last place team. But this could be the one where Miguel picks up that first win. Demo Gordon is going to have a real problem at running back with Kamara and Carson both on a bye this week. Currently has both of the Rams running backs starting. Not a great look. I think Miguel is going to have his best chance to pick up a win right here, and I would love for him to win this week because it would drive Jacob crazy for the rest of the year. But picking Undefeated Never Lost has been easy money so far to pick against them. So I have to go with Demo Gordon. Sorry, Miguel.
Have to agree with you on this one, Danny Football. It's Undefeated Never Lost is currently winless with that team name, and I can't see that changing until they change that team name. So even though Demo Gordon has a huge bye week, many players are on the bench this week, and that Rams running back team is really a little shifty, but I got to go with the Demo Gordons this week until Miguel changes that team name to Winless Never Won.
Next, we have the Harry Snotters taking on Team Big Chungus 22. This one, very close right now. Team Big Chungus 22 favored with a 51% chance to win, basically a coin flip. Battle of 3 and 2 teams here. Who do you like?
I think both teams really underperformed last week. Both teams, Big Chungus scored like 130 points, really bad. A lot of inconsistency on Big Chungus' side, and I'm not seeing the consistent moves that Big Chungus might need to make for that team to improve and become more consistent over time. So even though the Harry Snotters are a little banged up, a little hurt by the bye week, a little inconsistent, I'm picking the Harry Snotters on this one.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I mean, Team Big Chungus shaking it up a little bit with that trade with Demo Gordon. It should be going through soon. But I do not like that they're going to have to replace Russ with Matt Stafford. I am so out on the Lions, and that means I am totally out on the Chunguses this week. Snotters all the way. Next up, the Tex Arcana Bandits are taking on my elite man. The Hardmen are big favorites in this one with an 87% chance to win. Who do you like here?
Well, with absolutely no bias whatsoever, I think the Alley Coxes are riding high, as I mentioned earlier, coming off first actual victory of the year of more than just a couple points. Really looked dominant in that performance, whereas the Texarkana Bandits, very inconsistent. They just got the news that Le'Veon has been released, so currently riding a free agent on the team. Not seeing the talent on the Bandits to take down the Alley Coxes this week.
Yeah, as fans of the show will know, I have been big on the Bandits this year. I broke from my addiction to picking them last week, and it paid off for me because I was right. But I have been feeling there's a really big bandit-sized hole in my life ever since, and I need to make things right. I need another hit of the Bandits. I'm going with them this week. No questions asked. Didn't even need to look at the other team here because I know the Bandits are going to come through.
Tough pick.
Next up, we have Out in Fumbleland taking on Team Mvanek. Out in Fumbleland currently favored at a 79% chance to win. Team Mvanek has taken some big hits recently, losing Dak, Keenan Allen being hurt, and Dalvin Cook possibly being out next week with an injury. Who do you like in this matchup?
You know, I really like both teams here as a whole mass of players. But Team Mvanek has been hit. Like you said, Dak is gone. Keenan Allen could be gone. Dalvin Cook could be gone. Melvin Gordon has a DUI now, which is a huge hit to team morale. And now Out in Fumbleland can capitalize on Dalvin Cook being gone with Madison on his running back side. I think it might be a close one. It might be kind of up in the air, but I'm taking Out in Fumbleland on this one.
Yeah, I agree with you here. This one feels like a bit of deja vu from last week. I think the crucial factor in this one is going to be the injury to Dalvin Cook. And you know who directly stands to benefit from Dalvin Cook's injury? Alexander Madison. Do you know who owns Alexander Madison? Tom Walsh and Out in Fumbleland. For that reason, I like Out in Fumbleland in this one. Our marquee matchup of the week, Ham and Throw taking on the Mental Brick Walls. Very close matchup here, with Ham and Throw favored at 53%. Both of these teams are 3-2 and looking to establish themselves as contenders. Ham and Throw has had some atrocious weeks lately, absolutely terrible, while the Brick Walls have strung 2 wins together. Very hot team, scored the most points in the league. League insiders have been reporting that team morale pretty low for Ham and Throw in that locker room right now, with many different injuries and 2 straight low-scoring weeks. Look, we all already know how I'm picking this one. I don't really need to justify my pick, so I'm going to stop beating around the bush. Mental Brick Walls, 100%. Ham and Throw sucks.
Absolutely have to agree with you there, Danny. Ham and Throw, really, really soft 3-2. Could be 1-4 very easily. Mental Brick Walls coming off a week where they were both the biggest blowout and the worst manager with almost 300 possible points. So I'm not seeing where Mental Brick Walls are going to be able to slow down on this one, especially with coming on against a soft team like Ham and Throw. So it's Mental Brick Walls, 100% all the way. Lock it in.
All right, Nooch, thank you so much for being on the show this week. I wish you all the best with your picks. Of course, not as good as me, can't beat the experts, but hopefully we'll be able to have you back on at some point, and thank you again for being on the show this week.
Okay, 6-0, lock it in.
And thank you to Danny Football and guest Nooch for those great predictions this week. And that's all we have for you this time. Be sure to tune in next week to see how this week played out. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.
Whew, I have a drink.
That is wow. Wow.